Small business lending jumped in October from a year earlier, and existing borrowers are repaying loans at a record rate. It's according to the latest Thomson Reuters PayNet Small Business Lending Index, brought to you exclusively here on Reuters Insider. Bill Phelan's president of PayNet, and he joins me here today. So, Bill, we have small business new loans up in October by over 18% from a year earlier. That's the biggest gain in almost 4 years, 8th month in a row of year-over-year gains. What's the story?
Well, I think what we're seeing here is not really a breakout or a catch fire for the small business economy, but I think what we're seeing is a further strengthening of that economy. You know, as this number, this double-digit number that you mentioned, 19% year-over-year increase is a very positive increase. October of 2009, though, was the second lowest number on record. And so, you know, I'm not ready to break open the champagne bottles at this point, but we're certainly very positive that we're building a good base for further expansion in the small business economy.
I was going to ask that question if it was just a measure of easy comps, because on a monthly basis, sequential, we pulled back by about 5%. It was kind of the biggest month-over-month decrease we've seen this year, but it follows 4 straight months of gains. Anything give you cause for concern that maybe demand for credit slackening after those months of gains?
I certainly don't see this as a demand for credit problem, Dan. That's emphatic, and you can see that in these numbers. You know, the October 2010 number is the third highest number since January of 2009. So as you mentioned, you know, there's continued strength building in the small business economy. And so I think, you know, we can see that continue to build. You know, if there's any pause for concern, yeah, nobody likes to see the seasonally adjusted numbers go down from month to month. That does kind of give you a little bit of pause. But, you know, you think about it, September is always a heavy month. It's the end of a quarter. There's heavy budget expenditures going on that quarter usually. And so it's not unusual that we would see this kind of seasonal flip-flop from you know, October falling a little bit from September.
Let's turn to the delinquency rate, a fresh record low. You know, is this a sign that companies are in better shape, or are banks just picking better credits?
Well, you know what? Clearly, it's the companies are in better shape. There's no question about that. The companies have gotten their financial houses in order. They've cut costs. They've been able to tweak some of their expense structures. Obviously, they've laid some people off. So I think that I think it's 9 consecutive months of lower loan delinquencies. And these are significant parts of the balance sheet of these small businesses. So as you see that kind of performance, you're seeing these companies get their financial houses in order, and they're really well positioned, I think, for the next uptick in the economy, because they've done a good job of reducing costs. They've done a good job of I think, you know, becoming more profitable in this lower demand market.
Sectorally, where are you seeing the strength?
Yeah, you know, the sectors are really interesting. There were a few surprises this month, actually. We saw construction jump up nicely, and we saw a double-digit increase there. We saw a double-digit increase in manufacturing, really driven by the machine tool industry. So I think that's coming back a little bit, probably a reflection of what's going on in Detroit with the automakers. So some of those sectors are positive. The farmers continue to do very well. The medical sector continues to do very well. Trucking companies are reinvesting in their fleets. Their fleets are worn out by now, some of them, so they're having to reinvest. So we're seeing sectors across these traditional areas start to improve. And I think that's a good sign that the economy is improving for the small businesses, although we're not ready to pop the champagne corks yet.
What do you see as your conversations with banks and small borrowers? What's your sense of how this is going to continue into 2011?
The biggest business issue for every small business now is weak sales. It's not really a credit issue. They don't want to borrow money because they don't see the strong demand for their goods and services to put that money to work. And I think that's one of the positives of this Thomson Reuters PayNet Small Business Lending Index release, is that we're finally seeing some investment. And the only reason why these businesses are investing now is because they see positive returns on investment projects within their companies. And so I think that's very positive that we are starting to see some investment occurring.
Thanks, Bill. That was Bill Phelan. He's president of PayNet. I'm Dan Burns, and this is Reuters.